Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today for our webinar on the benefits of integrating digital signatures into Content Manager. On the call today, on the video presenting today, we have myself, Geoff Thompson, Enterprise Sales Director here at Secured Signing, and I work largely in the public sector in New Zealand and Australia. Joining me today is Gal, our CEO, who's been with Secured Signing for 6 years now, started when the company was, I think she was our 4th hire, and has grown to be our CEO, leading the team in New Zealand, the US and the UK. And also joining us, very thankfully, is Tab from Proficiency, and she's a specialist regarding Content Manager and the Secured Signing integration, and she'll be providing you with some information on that and demonstrating the integration and how you can enable turn on digital signatures within the Content Manager environment. So off we go. In the next 45 minutes of the webinar, just a quick agenda. We're just going to give you a little bit of information around Secured Signing, the benefits of digital signatures, have a couple of case study conversations, but spend a good amount of time on the demonstration. We believe that's sort of where the magic happens, so to speak, in terms of you being able to see how digital signatures within the Content Manager environment can digitize your document workflows, improve processes, increase efficiencies, compliance and security. So we'll leave good amount of time for that, and obviously Q&A at the end. So if you do have any questions along the way, just place them in the question box on the right-hand panel, and we'll round them up at the end and answer them. So that's what we'll be covering off today. So I did just want to start with a key message regarding digital signatures, and it's sort of, the phrase, it's simple, and that's something, if you take anything from me away today, is that those two words. Digital signature, in the workforce today and digital transformations, it's tough enough, right? Like, I speak with a lot of organizations who have a lot going on, upgrading and improving their core systems, but looking at other technologies and softwares to enhance their organization, make dealing with customers, the public, internal and external stakeholders easier and simpler. And there's a lot on people's agenda. What I want to leave you with is digital signatures are an easy implementation. It's a quick win in the digital transformation space, but it can have a high impact and be expanded across the organization. So my sort of motto really is about planning big, but it's okay to start small, to learn around digital signatures and the process efficiency and enhancements that can provide your organization, and then repeat and grow through the organization. So it doesn't have to be another project that is a bit overbearing or change management, etc. It really is simple in many ways. Users find it really easy to use and a pretty quick, easy shift. So that's sort of the message I want to leave you with. But a little bit about Secured Signing, who we are. We're an enterprise level digital signature software platform, which essentially digitizes your document workflow and signature capturing. And we have small organizations as customers right through to large government entities. And through our pricing and product, we make our software available to all. We are a New Zealand-based tech company, but we have a global presence with staff in the UK and the US as well. Our signing technology is based off sort of the gold standard within the industry, public key infrastructure, which Gal will talk to more about in a second. But in terms of enhancing security around your signing processes, especially when doing digitally, and your compliance in terms of records management, it really is gold standard. The key industries in which we operate are government, local and federal, the recruitment space and HR, finance, legal, and more specifically probably to the US, notary. And the reason I mention that is that those organisations come to the fore because they take document signing seriously, and can get real efficiency and improve their organisations by moving to a digital process. What we do in a nutshell now, I guess like us all, when taught how to present, we were always told not to put too many words on a page, but now I've gone and done that, so apologies there. But again, I like to just summarise what secured signing or digital signatures do, and it essentially digitises your documents. When a signature or a form needs to be filled in, whether documents need to be reviewed or witnessing is required, that's what we do. And why we do that is because it makes life easier when sending documents out for signing. It provides visibility over a process, speeds up turnaround times, sends automated reminders. You can have reusable templates and as I've said, form filler functionality. So it's not just about capturing a signature, it's around digitising that process and all the benefits that can unlock. And it's for simple, one signature required, through to complex document processes, approvals, multiple signatures through multiple departments. We're really about enhancing or speeding up the movement of documents internally or externally of organisations. And the benefits of digitising is higher business resiliency, through pandemics or things that cause businesses to shut. Digital signatures will keep going. Improve security of your processes, obviously increases productivity, better stakeholder experience. Like, people just get time back in their day. They don't have to have print, sign, scan, email, that sort of thing. And you just greater efficiency as well as lowering costs. So there are really many wins there. Just to show you some of our customers, and as I've said, they range in industry and have many different use cases, but a large part of what we do is the public sector in New Zealand and Australia. Multiple Australian councils are our customers, and some of the larger ones. So they've all used secured signing and some the content manager integration to enhance their organisation. And just quickly, if you're sort of sitting there thinking, okay, on the top of my head, and this was actually, as I rattle off some of the use cases, maybe if you wanted to put in the chat box what use cases you can think of off your top of your head while you're sort of sitting there listening to our webinar, but the common ones we see. But the interesting thing about what we do is that there's just such a variety of different use cases that people digitise. So it's not sort of just a standard process that we see over and over again, but we look through all departments across an organisation. If that's HR, new hiring and onboarding documents, internal policy updates, timesheets, the legal department with NDAs and contracts being sent out, procurement, supplier registration forms, purchase orders, finance with purchase requests, internal senior management, executive sign-off, community notifications, meeting minutes, internal approvals, dog registration forms. The list goes on in terms of documents required to be signed, and whether that's internally moving them at an organisation or sending them out to customers, third parties and stakeholders. Digitising those processes all have great benefit. As I say, just keep putting in the chat box if you like the use cases you can think of. So I just want to pause now for a question, and in the question box you type or the chat box, wherever you like, covering off what are your biggest document signing challenges at present. So I'll just sort of give 10 seconds, 20 seconds to type some in there, and then but keep doing that throughout the webinar, and the Q&A at the end we can sort of cover that off as well as part of what we do. sort of some coming through here around documents not being saved back to your EDRMS, so you can't find them in the future. And yeah, having a digital process, solves for that. We've got people using all sorts of signing practices, and yeah, that's an interesting one because we see that quite a bit since the pandemic, in terms of people using maybe JPEG images placed on top of documents, or things like that, where they don't have access to a printer. So again, maybe not the most legally robust process. Yeah, no audit trail. That's right. Without, with a manual process, it's hard to have that audit trail, which a digital process certainly provides you. Yeah, and not having any document or signing policies within the organisation. That's part of what we do as well, is talk to people around what documents actually require a signature, or what other ones maybe just require an email approval, or etc. Lockyer Valley, existing customer of ours, case study with them, and one of the key points we wanted to raise about, one of the benefits they found was around the audit logs. So that provides traceability of exactly where a document's been, who's touched it, who's reviewed it, who's obviously signed the document, and a records management practice, and having that audit trail really enhances your organisation from a compliance perspective. And also they talk around, from all the different workflows and processes within the organisation, secured signing sort of solves for all of them in an all-in-one platform. So sort of to come to some benefits of integrating digital signatures into Content Manager, I'll just pass over to Gal to talk around tip number 1, which is choosing a compliant digital signature solution.
Hello, thank you. It's very heavy rain where we are, so hopefully you can hear me okay through the background noise. But yes, so when we speak to a lot of customers, they ask us, especially in the space, about different types of signing online, and if it's all the same, electronic signature, digital signature, is there actually any difference between that terminology, or is it just different words for the same thing? So in short, without getting into too much detail, it's not the same thing. So an electronic signature means lots of different ways of accepting something online. So even a tick box could be counted as an electronic signature, whereas, as Geoff mentioned, a digital signature using the PKI public key infrastructure is the premium or gold standard for signing documents online. The reason for that is that it gives you complete visibility for every signature and every signer within the document. And when you place the very first signature, it actually seals the document and the content within it. So it means that you have now built a trust system between yourself and the other signers, that you know that the document that you're both signing has not been altered. If it does get altered, because PDFs can be changed, the signatures that have come before the alteration become invalid, and you can validate that independently offline in any PDF reader. Because we use that this technology, it means that we are not required to keep a copy of your document. We, in fact, delete a copy of your document from our system after 7 days, but that's where the beauty of the Content Manager integration, the signed document is automatically and effortlessly saved back in your Content Manager in the right place for long-term storage. So you're not keeping the data with us, but you're keeping it where you want it to be, which is in Content Manager. I have a couple of examples of the difference between an electronic and a PKI digital signature. So you can see this is an electronic signature on the left, which can be, so it's just a squiggle and an image, and that image can be copy and pasted, versus a digital signature, which has much more components to it. It cannot be altered, copied, and you can validate it and find a lot more about it. So I think this is an example of how you can validate the signature and what that information would look like. We capture each signature, the name of the signer, their email address, and IP address as well. And that all is available to you and saved back in Content Manager, so you're not relying on us in the future. Okay. Oh, I'll hand it over back to you, Geoff.
Thank you. So tip number 2, and probably the main reason for the webinar today, integration means automations and removes manual friction. And today, obviously, the integration at hand is Content Manager and secured signing. And what that means is that we look for a solution that seamlessly integrates with your current software and systems. So certainly Content Manager, but also tools like Microsoft Word, Outlook, and which is essentially just adding in a button to the ribbon within those products saying send for signing or secured signing. SharePoint as well, and as well as your HR platforms and so on. And that just increases record management practice, because on signing, the record comes back to the folder of choice, which Tab will obviously cover off in some of her demonstration. But it means a great user experience with software and products that your users, employees, staff already are aware of. So again, from a change management perspective, it makes life really easy. It's just adding a button within those platforms to integrate and make the signing process as easy, as straightforward as possible. So I'm going to pass over to Tab now, who's going to focus on Content Manager secured signing integration. So over to you, Tab.
Hi everyone, so my name is Tabitha Walker, typically go by Tab, and I am an information management consultant with Information Proficiency. So part of my job involves, well, of everything to do with records management. We assist with documentation, we have managed services, we provide things like this integration, and we do installations of Content Manager and so on. We also have an ITC help desk that basically you can message with any sort of records management, technical or on the front end, and get our assistance. So I've been heavily involved with the integration. I was one of the original testers for it, and so I'll be taking you through it today, as I'm also our main trainer. So I do this for a living. So let me share my screen and let's go. Apologies about this, I just seem to be, it's not showing me which screen it's showing me. Hold on.
We could see Content Manager.
Ah, okay, cool. Just making sure. It didn't show me which screen it had signaled on. Okay, so as we can see here, I have my Content Manager integration, and I've got some documents here to sign. So what I can do with this is I can actually go through and get this document to be signed within Content Manager. And we're going through a few slides that actually show this in more detail further on. But basically, the way the integration is set up within Content Manager is as an external link. So what this means is an external executable, and it just sits within Content Manager, and it provides us with a few extra bits and pieces. We can actually apply where it's going to be used. So you can say only a certain types. As you can see, I've only got document and standard document, and also whether we're going to use it for certain areas. Now, at the moment, I'm looking at CM 10.1, so be aware that these usage tabs are more on the CM 10.1. However, the integration works beautifully on lower level, previous models of CM. So let me just close that. Okay, so I have my business partnership agreement here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click, send to, Sigma secured sign-in. So it actually adds something in that's really easy to see for any end users who are using it, just the same as if you were adding a favorite or so on in Content Manager. But we just go send to Sigma secured sign-in, and it pops up with a box. So as you can see here, I'm already logged in, and that's for ease because of course this is a demo, but it's actually really easy to go through this authentication process. You're just logging into the secure sign-in, they confirm it, and you come back. It shows you how many documents are remaining on the plan, if the account is locked or not, and who's actually logged in. I can also see my signing history, so any previous documents that I've signed, as you can see, there are none here at the moment, but it shows me that history. So what I'm going to do is click next. Now here's where I add my recipients, and at the moment it's limited to recipients within that are as locations within Content Manager. However, I can actually add one in. So if I had one that wasn't actually in CM already, I can actually click on the little magnifying glass and right click in here and create a new location through this. So you don't have to then go back to CM and create that location to use it here. You can create one within the integration. However, the one I want today is just this one at the top. And as you can see, I've put my email address so that we can actually see the email come across to me and see it go back. So I'm going to add in my recipients. As mentioned by Geoff, multiple people. So you're not limited to just one person. I've set one person today, but you can continue to pick more. So now that I've got that, you can see my tagged record at the top, my recipient, and I'm just going to go next. So here we have, it shows you the security profile, so you can actually see and make sure that who you're sending it to is appropriate. So it's contacted and secured sign-in. And so what this is doing is then talking to secured signing and pulling up the WeSign so that we can actually add in the places that we want people to sign. And it's not just a single page. You can actually add it on multiple pages. You can add multiple people, and you can do it all within the integration. So it's just loading at the moment. Normally it's a little bit quicker than this, but obviously it's having a moment because it's Friday and it knows it's the weekend. So we can see I've got that. So I've done this with a PDF. You could, however, do it with a Word document or anything else required. So you can see I've got my document here. We can add additional form fields, but here we want to add our invitee. So this is who we want to sign it. So it picks up that name that we chose previously. And you can see that we've actually got a whole bunch of options here. So we can choose what type of signature we want. Do we want full or do we want initials? You know, how do we want to date and features? Do you want to include their job title? Do you want them just to view it? Do you just need to actually have it that they have viewed it? Or the reason, do you want to have a witness? You can see here there's a tick box here for multi-page signing so that you can add the signature on extra spots. Now you can see the little box here. Now what we can actually do with that is move it to where we want the signature to go. So for example, I'm just going to put it here, and we can actually change what we need just with that. So here I've got my signature. If I wanted to do multiple, I could click multiple, but we'll just keep it simple for today. And now I'm going to click next. So this is once we've set it all up and we're ready for it to be signed and we've got all the boxes that we need, people's signatures. So we click next. And so that's putting those boxes onto the thing and then giving us an invitation workflow. So what this does is allows us to set a due date when we need it. Apologies for the rain if you can hear it. It's raining really hard here too, even though I'm in Perth. So we can also say, hey, do we need these signatures in a certain order? We can enable video signing, and we can also check the invitees and change anything we need. From here, we can also edit the invitation email. So we can actually change the text on it and set it up the way that we want to. Now, there are a couple of different types of security that you can have with your for the signers, and it can go everywhere from a passcode within an email or a full password, but we're just going to pick that one. And we can, as I said, choose video confirmation, and we can click send. So that has sent my invitation. And we can see here in Content Manager that we've got the secured signing reference. So this is actually an additional field that's been added to Content Manager to basically give us the information of what's the document reference, who sent it, the date sent, date emailed, whether it's been processed, which basically means has it been signed, and did we check it out. So now when I go to my email, you can see that that has come through. And there's our passcode. And we can click and view to sign. So there's our secure document access. So that's the way that you can be sure that no one else can get into it to sign it instead. And it's bringing it up. So it's actually telling us the information. Hi, you've been asked by this person to sign the document and what they need to do. So we click OK. And we actually just click the box to sign it. Now you can actually choose different items about it, whether you want it in a certain way, but I've kept it as the stock standard. And you can see here the signing is complete. I can choose to download a copy of this or view it if I would like to. So if I view the document, you can see that I can see my signature here, and it's saying at the side that the signature is valid. So when I now go back to Content Manager, let me just refresh. So that is still coming in. But while that's coming in, let me show you a few other bits and pieces. So when we go to Sigma Secured Sign-In, you can see up in the top right-hand corner that there is these little cogs. So what this allows us to do is to actually modify some of the features. So let me open that up. So this is the configuration. So you can choose to, say you only want to have PDFs be signed. You don't want Word documents at all. You can actually remove that and have it that only a valid file type is a PDF. You can restrict users to a certain group. So that's people who are actually using the secured sign-in. You can choose which are valid recipients. Do you want it only within a certain group, so only certain people can receive it? Do you want it to be internal people only, or do you want it any, so internal or external? You can actually allow notes. So within the integration, another little circle will pop up at the side here to allow notes. And what that will do is give the person a chance to actually type something in. This was sent for signing, etc., etc., etc. We can have our external recipient warning and a security level acknowledgement. So it actually requires the person sending it for signing to go, yes, I've seen the security level and so on it, it's fine to be sent. We can also choose what action happens on send. Do we want to check out the document? Do we want to finalize the document? So that can actually happen, or nothing. Now we've also got, there are two components when you get the integration software from us. So one is this application and the other is the background task. So what the background task does is it sort of pulls back in and does that little bit of updating and so on. So we can choose how we add this to CM. Do we want it as a revision, or do we want it as a different rendition within CM? And then these are the email settings. So that's some of the configuration. So let me go back to CM and we'll just see if. So here you can see that this is now changed to is process is true. So now when we look at, I'll go to a view copy. You can see that that signature is there. So that's all incorporated into the document. There's nothing I can do to that. Now, the other thing is that we can actually go to right-click, security and audit, and active audit events. And you can see here that it actually tells us. So we've got all of those there. So we can say document sent via email, document sent via email, document sent for signing to blah, by secured sign-in, done by this person. So there's actually in the audit log on the record itself. So we can actually see that history of when it's been sent. If I go back into the integration, you can see here in the signing, there's our business ship agreement. It says what status it is and whether it's been fetched back into the integration. So I'm just going to click cancel on this one, and I will unshare my screen, and then we can go back to the presentation.
Hello.
Awesome.
I'm just trying to see what we can see. Okay. Oh, I need to move. No.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. So this shows the integrations authentication process. So what I was already logged in for. So as you can see, we've got, this is what you first see if you're not already logged in. So it says authentication fail. You click the authenticate button. Then that connects you to secured sign-in. From here, we then authorize, so it actually gives you that detail. You're requesting access to your documents. This is what you're going to see. And then it shows up that authentication screen. So it actually provides that information about your entitlements. Gail, if you would, there we go. So we're actually going to be introducing a few new updates. So we're constantly updating the integration with new features, and we accept requests. So if it's something that your organisation can see a use for, then feel free to chat to us, and we'll see if we can integrate it into a future release. So some of the upcoming additions, though, is the ability, as I said, when you're doing the integration, a At the moment, you can only choose locations that are within Content Manager or add them into Content Manager, but sometimes we have an email that we need to send it to that we don't want to add as a location within Content Manager. So one of the upcoming additions is the ability to use external email addresses that aren't linked to a location within the integration. So they will not need to be added as locations to send them documents for signing. So that's quite exciting. And also the ability to view the secured sign-in document audit logs in Content Manager. So there are audit logs for all of the items on the secured sign-in website. But what we're going to be doing is actually pulling in those and porting them in and attaching them to the record so that we can see those audit logs in addition to the audit logs that we have within Content Manager already. So that's another exciting integration update that's going to be happening. And Gail, back to you.
Thank you. A bit of handing off and there, but that's good. So just before we wrap up and go to the Q&A, just wanted to share another case study. So from an existing customer, Byron Shire, and what I really want to highlight here is just the feedback that they had in terms of the support perspective, the implementation, the training that we've provided, and the ongoing support. And they were really happy that the process of introducing digital signatures in the council was really smooth and easy. And we've also, if I can mention a shout out to Tab and her team, have had fantastic feedback on the support and implementation process that Info Proficiency have done for our Content Manager customers. So the way that it works is that we work together. Info Proficiency take care of the Content Manager side of things, and then we train you more on the signing perspective. And if there are any technical issues, we just troubleshoot together, whether it is a Content Manager side or more secured signing thing. So yeah, just to mention that you get support from both of us, which is great. All right. Quick poll before we go to Q&A. Bear with me. So poll, here we go. Oh, I've got to click launch. So a question we had is just around, what is your time frame to consider an implementation of a digital signature solution or a tool to digitize some of your documents? So if you don't mind just answering one of the 5 options below on your screen, whether it's something that you're thinking about now within the next quarter, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, or something that is not on your roadmap at all. It's just good insights for us to understand where digital signatures are placed. We know that over the pandemic, we had a number of customers or people, needing urgently to implement digital signatures, and they may have done something like a quick fix. So now they're looking back and at the wider organization to understand what is a long-term partner platform that supports us. So an integration is a really key part of that. So you're making sure that data goes to the right place and easily. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I think I'll close the poll. Q&A. So Geoff unfortunately has had to shoot off earlier, but Tab and myself will be able to answer any questions. So Tab, I've got a couple of questions and they're for you, so I'll just read them over.
Sure.
So the first one is, does the document stay checked in or checked out?
So you can actually choose. So where I showed in the configuration, you can actually choose what happens to it. So you can choose to nothing to happen, which is what we had happening while I was doing the demo. You can choose that it will check it out while it's going out for signing, or you can choose that it will finalize. So that was that little pull down box on the first configuration screen.
Okay, thank you. The next question I think I can answer. Can you set up a template that has a number of signees? That is so the users don't have to add a signee each time. So we do have a solution which is at the top right of the WeSign called a signature template, and that's exactly what it is. So in our first step is you have to create the signature template, and all the signature template is, if say you have 4 people that need to sign, you've got 4 signatures, you select the signature template that has 4 signatures on it, and it just drops down the signatures on the document. So you're not having to drag and drop 4 signatures. It just knows the layout of the signatures that you'll require for that document. And you can create as many signature templates as you require, and you can share them with users that need different templates. So that's a quick way of, yeah, I think that's what this question was relating to. Good, so someone's looking at using a solution as already and just having a comparison, which is excellent. So, it'd be great to know whether that what you're doing now is integrating with Content Manager already, because that's definitely taking things to the next level in terms of user experience and compliance, really. That's cool. So I've got one more that I can see it's come in, but keep putting your questions in as you come up as I'm talking, but just around pricing. So I'll take that one too, Tab, if that's okay. I'll talk about our pricing. And then, so the way that it works is there is a cost to the connector. So the wonderful connector that Info Proficiency have built, there is an annual cost for that. And then aside from that, there is also a subscription. Now, the subscription is based on the number of users within your organization that are sending documents out for signing. Now, it might not be everybody. So through, we'd love to have a private chat and understand your requirements, and then we can uncover who needs to be sending those documents versus who is only signing. So if it's just a signer, that might be an internal signer or somebody externally, they do not need a user license and secured signing. They can have a user and content manager, but they won't have a user and secured signing, and therefore they cannot send documents out for signing. The last factor that impacts the price is just the number of documents that you're sending, either on a month or an annual basis. So hopefully some of the use cases that we highlighted before can help you calculate or estimate the different processes in your organization that you could be using digital signing for, and then add that up to come up to an annual document volume. If you have it, you can always purchase more documents if you run out. But yeah, we offer very flexible pricing options either on a monthly or an annual basis, and you can start small, as Geoff mentioned earlier, and grow. And we've seen that has been very successful in some organizations that maybe there've been a few other big projects and digital signing. They had one department, whether it's HR, procurement, legal, that really had a specific process that they were desperate to move away from paper or emailing things through, and they wanted to introduce digital signatures. So they started with that particular department. They could estimate the users and the document really easily. And then as the organization became more comfortable with that, they grew and added more users and therefore more documents. So it's a really nice way to start small and grow as you're ready to. I think that's it. 1 minute spare. Wonderful. So if you have any other questions, please send through to either Geoff or Tab below. You've got their emails there, and we would love to have a chat, understand where you're thinking about digital signatures, what other information you might need to bring it back to your business to properly evaluate our integration with Content Manager and secured signing. Thank you very much, Tabitha. Appreciate you joining us. And we will be in touch. Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Bye.